Heavenly love is coming alive, and your spirit has known their name all along. There comes a moment in the silence of your soul when you realize you were never waiting for love, you were remembering it. This love is not new, it is not a stranger walking toward you, but a divine reflection long hidden in time, now rising to meet you in full awareness. You've felt it before in dreams that lingered after waking, in sudden emotions you couldn't explain, in the whisper of a name your lips never spoke aloud, but your heart always answered to. This isn't a story of longing, it's a story of return. Your spirit has known their essence before your eyes ever looked upon them. You are not about to meet someone, you are about to remember someone. A heavenly love is awakening, and it comes not to complete you, but to confirm what your soul has always known. You were chosen for them, and they for you, and now, as the divine clock strikes its perfect hour, that sacred bond sealed in realms unseen begins to rise in your visible world, not because you begged for it, but because you believed in it. Because you felt them in the unseen and dared to say yes before the evidence arrived. This is not fate. This is fulfillment. Heaven is not sending you love. It is revealing it. And your spirit already knows their name. There is a hidden knowing within you, buried not in your thoughts but in your spirit, a knowing that predates your memory, surpasses logic, and refuses to be silenced by the noise of the world. That knowing is love, not just the concept of love, but a specific love. A face your heart remembers, a voice your soul recognizes, a presence that makes no sense to your mind, but feels like home to your spirit. You are not wandering the earth searching for your soulmate. You are walking a path your soul already mapped, toward a reunion your spirit has never questioned. Before time clothed you in form, before words filled your mind with doubt, there was a union in the unseen, a holy bond written in the light of eternity. The world calls it destiny, but you know better. It is divine memory, that subtle ache inside you, that sense that someone belongs in your life even when they haven't arrived yet, is not fantasy. It is prophetic remembrance. You have touched their essence in dreams that left you breathless. You have felt their energy during moments of silence. You've even seen glimpses of their life when you least expected it. Not by coincidence, but by divine preview, your inner world has always been aware. Love is not something you stumble upon. It is someone your soul has long embraced. And when you finally cross paths in the physical, it will not be fireworks or confusion. It will be peace. It will be a holy calm. It will be a moment of soul recognition so undeniable. Your body will feel what your spirit has always carried. There you are. I knew you would come. In this world we are taught to search, to look for love in faces, to chase it in places, to earn it through performance. But heavenly love is not found through effort. It is revealed through alignment. You do not chase this kind of love, you remember it. You remember it through faith, through stillness, through imagining it as real before it becomes visible. Every time you go within and feel the truth of what you desire without needing proof, you align yourself with the divine version of reality already waiting for you. What you call desire is not lack, it is memory. The deep yearning you feel is not loneliness. It is your spirit echoing the presence of someone who has always been yours. That is why you can't shake it. That is why even in the arms of others, your heart whispers for something more. It's not about needing a person. It's about awakening to the one who was chosen for you before your first breath. This kind of connection is not created. It is remembered, awakened, revealed. You do not attract them with neediness. You attract them through inner knowing. When you remember who you are and walk in the power of that remembrance, you radiate the frequency of divine love, and the one who matches it cannot help but feel the pull. The world may call it crazy. They may mock your knowing, dismiss your faith, or suggest you've imagined something that doesn't exist. But deep down you know better, because every time you tried to move on or settle for less, your soul resisted. Every time you tried to silence the pull, something louder called you back. The spiritual bond you carry is not subject to human timelines. It exists beyond delay, beyond separation, beyond doubt. Time may make you wait, but it cannot make you forget. Because the truth is, you didn't imagine them. They imagined you too. Your spirits met before your eyes ever did. You have been appearing in their dreams just as they've been showing up in yours. You are not alone in this knowing. There is someone else whose heart has been stirred by the same divine memory, someone who cannot explain why they feel incomplete without meeting you, someone who has seen shadows of your face in the quiet moments and longed for a name they don't yet know. You are both remembering what heaven never allowed to be erased, and when the moment comes, when your paths collide in divine timing, it will not be a new love, it will be a return. This is why you must protect your belief. Guard your vision, trust the feeling even when you have no reason to. Do not abandon the knowing within just because the outside has yet to reflect it. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to stay in the state where it already has. Let the world question it, let your mind doubt it, but do not let your spirit forget it. What you imagine with love, believe with feeling, and assume with faith is more real than what you see. The spiritual realm births the physical, not the other way around. If your soul has seen them, if your spirit has recognized them, then nothing, no delay, no distance, no doubt, can keep them from you. They will arrive not by your striving, but by your surrender, not by chasing, but by remembering. Not by timing, but by trust. So walk in that faith. Speak as if they are already near. Feel their presence in your day-to-day life. Imagine their hand in yours. Give thanks for them even now, because when your inner world aligns with what your soul knows, your outer world must obey. That's not wishful thinking, that's divine law. The one your spirit remembers is real, and they are remembering you too. You are not lost, you are not behind, you are not forgotten. You are awakening to a love that has never left you, only waited for you to believe again. This is not the beginning of love, it is the unfolding of what has always been. The name you do not yet speak is already written on your heart, and heaven is now moving mountains to reveal it. So lift your eyes. Clear your heart, stay open, because a heavenly love is coming alive, and your spirit has known their name all along. There is something holy about your desire, something sacred, misunderstood, and often silenced by fear or logic. But desire, true desire, is not born from lack. It is the voice of the future calling you home. It is not the craving of desperation, but the remembrance of what is already yours in the unseen. That longing you feel in your heart for a love that transcends this world, for a connection that awakens your soul and silences every doubt, it is not a fantasy, it is a prophecy. You are not asking for something that might be, you are responding to something that already is. This is the mystery most overlooked. Your desire is evidence of possession, not absence. You wouldn't long for a love your spirit had never tasted. You wouldn't yearn so deeply for someone unless they already existed within you, somewhere beyond time, waiting to be known again. The ache you carry is not loneliness, it is alignment. It is the subtle pull of destiny reminding you that love is not something you must go out and find. It is something you must awaken to, something you must receive by belief, something you must remember through imagination. When you begin to treat your desire not as a burden but as a divine signal, everything changes. You stop questioning if it's too much to ask for, and you begin trusting that it's too important to ignore. You stop asking when it will happen and start believing that it already has in the higher realm of spirit. The world around you will tempt you to give up, to lower your standards, to let go of what your heart truly wants in exchange for something more convenient, more visible, more immediate. But your desire doesn't lie. If it's real within, it will become real without. If you hold the vision and dwell in its reality, that feeling of wanting someone who truly sees you, honors you, walks with you in purpose and presence, that desire is not too much. It is not delusion. It is destiny disguised as longing. When you feel the ache, don't curse it, celebrate it. The ache is the whisper of love already formed in the unseen, calling you into alignment. The ache is proof that what you seek is seeking you too. Your imagination is the holy ground where desire becomes form. When you enter into the silence and feel their presence, speak to them, share life with them, and see them as already yours. You are not pretending. You are entering into the reality where the promise is already fulfilled. The world might not see it yet, but heaven already does. And when you live in that inner fulfillment, when you no longer need physical proof to believe in what your heart knows, you activate divine timing. The unseen begins to materialize. The vibration of your faith begins to draw the corresponding experience into your world. You are not manipulating reality. You are aligning with it. You are becoming the version of yourself who already has the love you desire. And once that alignment is complete within, the outer world cannot delay what the inner world has accepted. Do not confuse patience with passivity. You are not waiting in vain. You are holding the space for something sacred. You are refusing to betray your own spirit. You are honoring what your heart has seen even when your eyes cannot yet confirm it. That is not foolishness. That is spiritual maturity. The world will say you're dreaming. Let them, because dreams are the blueprints of divine creation, and when you dare to dwell in the end, to feel the love, to assume the union, to live from the reality of the fulfilled desire, you become magnetic to the very thing you imagined. You do not need to beg for love that is already yours. You need to believe in it so completely that the universe has no choice but to deliver what you have already received within. It is not about forcing someone to appear. It is about remembering who you are and what belongs to you in the divine order of things. There is someone who matches your frequency, someone your desire is guiding you toward, someone who has been calling you to. They may not know your name yet, but they know your essence. They feel the pull. They hear the same whisper in moments of silence. Your desire is the bridge. Your faith is the vehicle, and your imagination is the place where union begins. The more you dwell in the love that already is, the more your life will reflect the love that is becoming visible. Don't settle, don't shrink, don't silence your soul just because others can't hear what you hear. This is between you and the divine. This is your sacred agreement. This is your echo from the future calling you to remember what was never lost, only hidden for a time. The great illusion is that time separates us from what we desire. But time is not the enemy. Time is the stage on which eternity reveals itself. Your future is not ahead of you. It is within you, waiting to be embodied, felt, believed in, and honored. When you feel the desire, respond not with fear, but with surrender. Speak to your desire as a living promise. Thank the universe for what is already done. Live your days not with anxiety, but with joy, knowing that love is not a matter of if, but when, and that the when is always determined by your willingness to believe before you see. Every time you choose to feel love instead of lack, trust instead of doubt, gratitude instead of fear, you close the gap between now and the moment of manifestation. So take a deep breath, go within, reconnect with that desire that's been quietly burning in your chest for so long. Visualize the love you know is yours. Speak as if you are already with them. Feel their hand in yours. Hear the laughter that will one day echo through your home. Imagine the ordinary moments made sacred by shared presence. That is not childish. That is creation. That is remembrance. That is the language of your spirit. And as you continue to live from that inner vision, as you nourish it with belief and protect it from the voices of doubt, the echo will become substance. The unseen will become seen. The one you've longed for will walk into your life not as a stranger, but as someone who feels like home, because that's what desire really is. It is your future calling you back to the moment where love first began, not in time, but in eternity. And as you align with that moment, you begin to live in the reality of a love that was never missing, only waiting for your belief to bring it to life. There is a sacred mystery that unfolds when you no longer wait for love outside of you, but begin to accept it inside of you, completely, wholly, unconditionally. When you begin to dwell in the vibration of already being loved, already being chosen, already being known in the deepest way, something shifts not just in your imagination, but in the fabric of your reality. Because love is not something you attract by seeking, it is something you embody by remembering. When you finally accept that the love you desire is not a reward to be earned, but a truth to be received, you become magnetic to it. You become a living mirror to the very energy you are holding inside. This isn't about chasing someone or manipulating timing. It's about becoming so rooted in the assumption of divine union that your very presence begins to radiate wholeness. The person your spirit remembers cannot resist that energy because it matches what they too have been searching for. You become the answer to the same question they've been asking in silence. You become the completion of the promise that has been echoing in both of your hearts long before you ever met. This is why self-concept is everything, not self-image, self-concept. The way you see yourself determines what you allow yourself to receive. If you see yourself as unworthy, incomplete, or forgotten, you will continue to live in the shadow of love, forever trying to reach it but never feeling it. But when you revise your inner story, when you begin to see yourself as already chosen, already adored, already whole, you shift the frequency of your being. The inner conversations you have about love begin to sound different. You no longer say, "I hope they love me, but of course I am loved. Love recognizes me." You no longer ask, "Will I ever be good enough?" but declare, "I am already enough, and the one meant for me knows it." You become magnetic when you no longer doubt the presence of love, even when the evidence is not yet visible. You speak love into existence. You live as one who is already loved. You radiate the vibration of union. And reality, being the obedient servant that it is, rearranges itself to mirror your assumption. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. There is nothing selfish about believing you are worthy of love that is sacred, deep, and divine. In fact, it is your responsibility to believe it, because your belief is what gives the invisible permission to become visible. Every time you walk in the energy of already being loved, every time you embody the joy of the union before it appears, you are pulling that reality closer. You are collapsing time, you are dissolving separation. The more you accept love within, the more impossible it becomes for love to stay hidden from you. You become the answer to your own prayer, not by forcing it, but by being it. When you stop looking for someone to make you feel loved and start feeling loved right now, in this moment, in your breath, in your being, you no longer vibrate with need, you vibrate with fulfillment. And fulfillment is what draws in the one who belongs. There is no room for desperation in divine love. Desperation says, "I need you to complete me." But magnetic love says, "I already am, and you are the one who complements what already exists." This is why the waiting season is never wasted. It is the sacred preparation of becoming the version of yourself who no longer doubts the promise. It is the transformation of consciousness where you move from longing to knowing. You stop obsessing over the when and the how, and you begin to rest in the now. Because you realize love is not somewhere far away. It is in your breath, your thoughts, your assumptions. The more you dwell in the end, the more you collapse the gap between what is felt and what is seen. Your thoughts create the space, your feelings fill it with life, your assumptions form its foundation. If you assume you are overlooked, you will keep attracting people who cannot see you. But if you assume you are seen, cherished, and deeply chosen, you will begin to notice how quickly reality bends to that belief. This is not wishful thinking. This is how love manifests. You become the one your spirit knows you already are, the beloved, the wanted, the treasured. And the one meant for you, the one your soul has never forgotten, will recognize that energy, not as something foreign, but as something familiar. They've felt you too. They've heard your spirit speak. And when you rise into full acceptance of that truth, they will no longer be able to miss you. You will become too magnetic to overlook. So ask yourself, what would you feel if you already had the love you long for? What would your inner conversations sound like? How would you carry yourself if you knew without a doubt that the one your soul remembers was already preparing to enter your life? Feel that. Speak from that. Walk in that, because as you do, the shift begins not outside of you, but within you, and that inner shift is the root of all outer manifestation. You are not manifesting a stranger. You are awakening the connection that already exists, buried beneath doubt, fear, and time. And when you clear the internal noise, the signal becomes clear. The one meant for you can feel it. They are drawn not to your appearance or your words, but to your frequency, to the deep, steady vibration of belief that says, "I already know who I am, and I already know what belongs to me." And here's the most beautiful part. You don't have to know how it will happen. You don't have to figure out the details or the timeline. You only need to feel it as done, because in the realm of spirit, it already is done. Love is not coming from the outside. It is rising from the inside. It is unfolding through your willingness to believe. And the more you accept that love within, the more effortlessly it appears without. You will begin to notice synchronicities, moments of alignment, glimpses of confirmation that let you know your belief is working, your imagination is being heard, your heart is not lying to you. This is not madness. It is manifestation. So rest in that truth. You are magnetic to the love you already feel. You are irresistible to the one who is already spiritually connected to you. As you walk in peace, as you speak with conviction, as you trust the unseen more than the visible, you become a living magnet to the love your soul remembers, not because you earned it, not because you begged for it, but because you became it, you aligned, you believed, you assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And now all of heaven moves to bring you what you no longer chase, because love, when accepted within, must always appear without. There is a divine law written across the invisible currents of this universe, a law so simple, so powerful, that once you understand it, everything about love, life, and manifestation begins to change. That law is this: what you accept as done within must express itself without, not in theory, not in possibility, in fact. This means that love does not come into your life because you hope for it, wait for it, or cry out for it. Love arrives because you dwell in its reality before it appears. It comes because you've already received it in spirit, because you've dared to feel the warmth of a hand you've not yet held, because you've chosen to hear the voice of someone whose name may still be unknown to you, but whose presence your soul has always known. The secret is not to obsess over where they are, or why they haven't come, or whether they're thinking of you. The secret is to live as though they already have, to feel it, to breathe it, to embody the energy of union so fully that separation no longer feels real. When you dwell in the end, in the feeling of already having the love you desire, you collapse the very illusion of waiting, and manifestation becomes inevitable. The great deception is that the absence of something means it is far away. But in truth, what you desire is never distant. It is only unseen, and it becomes visible the moment your belief aligns with the unseen reality. The moment you stop reacting to the physical world as the final word and begin responding to your inner knowing as the highest truth, everything changes. This is not about pretending. This is not about fooling yourself. This is about faith. Faith not in a far-off future, but in a present spiritual reality that already exists. The love you desire has already been created. The one your heart longs for has already been written into your soul's story. The moment you begin to feel it as if it were already here, your spirit starts commanding circumstances to match what you've accepted within. This is the power of dwelling in the end. You no longer live in the tension of if it will happen, but in the peace of knowing it already has. So what does it mean to dwell in the end? It means you go beyond visualization and step into embodiment. It means you don't just close your eyes and see them. You feel them. You sense the presence of love as a tangible reality. You let the joy of being with them flow through you as if the union had already occurred. You make space in your mind, your heart, your routine for the one your soul remembers. You speak to them in quiet moments. You smile as if they just sent you a message. You wake up with the peace of being loved and go to sleep in the warmth of their presence. Your imagination becomes your sanctuary, your altar, your meeting place, and from that sacred space, reality begins to shift, not by force, but by divine law. But here's where most people get stuck. They dwell in the lack instead of the end. They notice what's missing, they obsess over the absence, they replay the delays, the disappointments, the what-ifs, and by doing so, they create more of the same, because your dominant state of being becomes the mold through which reality pours itself. If you are constantly feeling lonely, you generate more experiences of loneliness. If you are always questioning whether love will find you, you keep yourself in the waiting room. But when you shift into gratitude for what already is, when you begin to thank God for the love that is already yours, when you move with the confidence of someone who is already deeply known, already chosen, already cherished, then your world must rise to meet that vibration. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. The spiritual world is the seed, and your assumption, your inner atmosphere, your dwelling place is the soil. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you feed, every image you allow to dominate your mind, that is what determines what grows. And if your inner garden is filled with the fragrance of love, the joy of union, the peace of divine companionship, then love must bloom, not as a coincidence, as a consequence. So don't wait to feel loved. Feel it now. Don't wait to feel chosen. Know it now. Don't wait to feel safe. Rest in it now. Because when you dwell in the end, when you fully saturate yourself with the assumption of already having what your heart has asked for, life rearranges itself to reflect that belief. And yes, there may be moments when your mind tries to pull you back into doubt. It will whisper that you're delusional, that you're alone, that it's taking too long, but that's just the echo of an old reality trying to survive in a world where you've already made a new choice. You don't need to argue with it. Just return to the end, return to the feeling, return to the moment where you know they are already yours. Speak from that place, think from that place, move from that place. That's how you make the shift permanent, not by forcing love to come, but by refusing to live as though it hasn't. You must understand, manifestation is not a reward for perfect behavior. It is the outflow of alignment. And the most powerful state you can live in is the knowing that what you desire is already complete in the unseen, and your only job is to remain in agreement with it. Every time you rehearse a loving conversation in your imagination, every time you smile in response to a future memory made real within, every time you replace fear with faith, you are building a bridge. You are shortening the distance, you are dissolving resistance, you are becoming a match to the very thing you once thought was far away. This is why it is so important not to be discouraged by what your physical eyes see. What you see is only the harvest of your past beliefs, but what you feel within right now, that is the seed of what's coming next. So don't react to delay as rejection. Delay is just divine orchestration. Delay is a test of persistence. Delay is an invitation to dwell deeper in the end, not to retreat into doubt. When it seems the furthest, dwell in the end. When silence grows louder, dwell in the end. When loneliness tries to convince you that you are forgotten, return to the end, because the end is where creation finishes. The end is where fulfillment lives. The end is where love already holds your hand. You don't need permission, you don't need confirmation, you only need belief, and belief is not passive, it is power. It is the silent force that moves mountains and bends time. So let your love story begin before it is visible. Let your heart rest in the arms you've yet to touch. Let your soul breathe in the presence that is already coming toward you, and watch. Watch how life bends, how reality shifts, how love appears in form so perfect, so familiar, so divine that you'll know, this is what I prepared for. This is what I believed in, this is what I dwelled in, this is what I knew, even when there was nothing to prove it but the feeling in my spirit. Because that's all it takes, one decision to dwell in the end, and love will find you right where you are. There is a bond that predates your first breath, a sacred thread woven through eternity that ties your soul to another, not through force, not through chance, but through divine remembrance. This is not a connection made in time, it is a connection remembered in time. The world has taught you to look with your eyes, to judge by appearances, to define love through labels and logic, but the soul knows better. The soul speaks in silence, in symbols, in stirrings you cannot explain. It's why you can't forget certain dreams, why you feel the presence of someone you've never met, why a specific name or a passing face quickens your heartbeat though you've never shared a word. The mind calls it fantasy, coincidence, emotion, but the soul knows it as memory. The connection was never lost, it was only buried under layers of disbelief, delay, disappointment, and distraction. But when you go within, when you still the noise, when you let your heart feel what it dares not speak, the bond rewakens, and the one your spirit has always known begins to rise, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. You were never meant to find them, you were meant to remember them. This is why the longing never leaves you, why your heart aches not for just anyone, but for someone, someone who fits a shape you cannot describe in words, but recognize in feeling. Someone who answers a question your soul has been asking long before your mind ever knew how to form the sentence. You've met them in visions, you've walked with them in dreams, you've felt them during those still moments when time seemed to pause and a warmth came over you for no reason. That wasn't illusion, that was your soul leaning into truth. You didn't imagine them, they've always been there, just beyond the veil, waiting for your belief to bring them into focus. The mind forgets what the spirit never stops remembering. And as you awaken spiritually, that memory begins to rise. It doesn't come with loudness or logic. It comes with peace, a knowing, a subtle but undeniable recognition that says, there you are, I knew you would come. The mind wants control. It demands clarity, evidence, timelines. It tries to protect you from disappointment by dismissing anything that cannot be proven. But the soul operates differently. It is not concerned with how or when. It simply knows. It lives from the unseen and trusts the unfolding. So when the mind tells you to move on, to give up, to forget the visions that once made you weep with joy, the soul gently whispers, be still, I remember. And that whisper is more powerful than all the noise in the world. It is that whisper that keeps you holding on, that whisper that makes you pray for someone whose name you may not even know yet, that whisper that refuses to let you settle, because your soul remembers what your eyes have not yet seen. And it knows that the one who was written into your life before time began is still on their way to you, not late, not lost, but arriving in divine timing. You see, this connection does not begin when you meet them. It begins when you believe in them. When you stop dismissing your knowing, when you start living as if the soul agreement is already in motion, that's when things start to shift. That's when the veil begins to lift. You don't need to beg for signs. You don't need to chase synchronicities. You simply need to trust the pull. The one you're connected to feels it too. They may not understand it. They may not have the language for it, but they feel the same restlessness, the same ache, the same sacred magnetism pulling them towards something they can't explain but can no longer deny. Just like you, they are waking up. Just like you, they are remembering, and when both souls finally rise into the vibration of recognition, the meeting becomes inevitable. Not forced, not stumbled upon, inevitable. This is why your work is not to wait. It is to prepare, to clear the noise, to soften the doubt, to believe again, to live in alignment with the love you already know is yours. The soul connection is not waiting on time. It's waiting on readiness, and readiness is a state of consciousness. When you stop looking at love as something external to attain and start embracing it as something internal to unlock, you become a living magnet to the one whose heart was always tethered to yours. The past does not matter. The delay does not matter. Even the mistakes don't matter, because the soul cannot be separated by human error. It simply pauses, it waits, it protects the connection until you are strong enough to believe in it again. So let go of the fear that you've missed your chance. Let go of the shame for doubting what your heart knew was true. Let go of the pressure to figure everything out. Your spirit has already made the journey. It has already walked hand in hand with the one who belongs to you. It is already united in realms beyond what you can see. Your only task now is to remember that truth and walk in alignment with it. Every time you meditate and feel their presence, every time you speak their name, even in silence, every time you give thanks for their life as if you're already sharing it, every time you refuse to give in to loneliness and instead choose to rest in divine timing, you are strengthening the connection, you are confirming what was never lost, you are reactivating the soul bond that has always existed. And when they do come, and they will, it will not feel new, it will feel familiar, like an echo that finally returned, like a missing part of yourself that didn't feel empty, but dormant. There will be no need to rush, no need to prove, no need to impress. Just peace, just presence, just the quiet, undeniable truth that this was always meant to be. And in that moment, all the years of believing, all the tears of waiting, all the nights of praying will suddenly make sense. Because you'll realize you weren't waiting for love, you were remembering it, and now love is remembering you back. The beauty of a soul connection is that it transcends separation. It is not broken by time or distance. It is not erased by silence. It waits in the spiritual realm, pulsing like a hidden light, guiding both souls back to each other, not through force, but through frequency. So raise your frequency. Step into the version of you who is already loved. Speak from that place, live from that place. Don't seek the connection. Be the connection. Don't wait for it to prove itself. Embody it. And as you do, the spiritual bond becomes so strong that even the physical realm cannot deny it any longer. The person whose soul has been tethered to yours will begin to feel the pull. They will start waking up, too. They will begin searching, not because they are lost, but because your belief is calling them forth. And when the time comes and your eyes meet, your hands touch, and your hearts remember, you'll smile, not in surprise, but in deep, sacred recognition. Because deep down you knew it all along. The soul connection was never lost. It was only forgotten by the mind, and now by grace it is remembered again.